Welcome to the new season-based Change Underground podcast. The theme, as always, is decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil. In this first dedicated season, I'm going back to take a deep look at the world of regen ag, its current state of play and where it might be heading. That being laid out, this episode 1 of 9, will cover the basics, the underlying principles and an overview of practices. So, without further ado, traditional farming practices contribute to soil degradation, loss of biodiversity and greenhouse gas emissions. This is where regen ag comes in, offering a sustainable and ecological alternative. In this episode, we'll dive into the basics of regen ag, cover its fundamental principles and a few benefits. Regen ag is an approach to farming and gardening, for that matter, that goes beyond mere sustainability. It seeks to actively restore and regenerate the health of our ecosystems and the vitality of our lands. The main focus of regen ag is to mimic natural processes fostering soil health, enhancing biodiversity and sequestering carbon. At its core, regen ag is an holistic system that emphasises a deep connection between soil health, plant health and human health. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, but rather a flexible framework that can be adapted to various agricultural practices. And there's a few principles involved. Minimise soil disturbance. Conventional farming often involves intensive ploughing, which disrupts the soil structure and depletes its natural resources. Regen ag advocates for minimal soil disturbance with practices like no-till farming, which leaves the soil structure intact, reducing erosion and enhancing the soil's capacity to sequester carbon and absorb water. Diverse cover crops. Planting cover crops such as legumes and grasses between cash crops helps prevent erosion, suppress weeds and improve soil health. These cover crops also provide habitat for beneficial insects and microorganisms. The soil needs to be covered and to be sustaining plant life for the plant life to sustain the soil. It's worth remembering that the soil is not separate from that which grows within it. Crop rotation. Rotating crops in a regenerative system is essential to break pest cycles, improve soil nutrient cycling, and enhance overall soil health. The greater the diversity of plant life, the more resilient the soil structure and life itself. If this rotation, in inverted commas, can occur simultaneously with different plant types growing together, so much the better. Livestock integration. Now, if you've listened to this pod for any length of time, you'll know that I believe you cannot grow healthy plants without animals. And many regenerative farming systems incorporate livestock like cattle, sheep, chickens, goats. They help in nutrient cycling, adding organic matter to the soil and even pest control. Indeed, the mimicking of nature requires the use of livestock. Animals will arrive anyway. Might as well use the ones that provide a return. Compost and organic matter. The addition of organic matter through compost, mulch and other sources enriches the soil, making it more fertile and able to retain moisture. Again, if this can be done in situ, so much the better. As the late John Seymour put it, the quickest way to make compost is to feed vegetation through an animal. 24 hours and it's completed. Reduce synthetic inputs. Regenerative agriculture seeks to minimise the use of synthetic inputs, such as fertilisers and pesticides, relying on natural systems to maintain soil health and crop health. The end point of the whole regen ag thing is the end of the synthetic inputs industry. You can see why there's resistance to that. People are making money out of it. Now, the benefits of regen ag. Improved soil health. The heart of regenerative ag is soil health. By promoting practices that increase organic matter, reduce erosion and enhance soil structure, regen farming leads to healthier and more fertile soils. Carbon sequestration. Regen ag actively captures and stores carbon in the soil, reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Healthy soils naturally contain more carbon, which is essential for mitigating climate change, but also for growing healthier plants and animals. Enhance biodiversity. By maintaining diverse cover crops, ending the use of synthetic additives, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, etc., and providing habitat for wildlife, regen farming increases biodiversity on, and here's the important bit, around the farm as well. Water conservation. Practices like no-till and cover cropping reduce water runoff and help the soil retain moisture. Also helps the soil to soak up moisture when the heavy rain events come. And of course, this is especially important in regions with water scarcity. Think the wide brown land that is the mainland of Australia. Economic viability. While there may be a learning curve, and a fairly steep one at that, and initial investment in transitioning to regen practices, the long-term benefits include reduced input costs and improved yields, making the whole thing more economically sustainable. Resilience to climate change. Regen Ag helps farms adapt to the impact of climate change. Healthy soils can absorb and hold more water, reducing the effects of droughts and extreme weather events. Now, weather events may be so outside the 3 standard deviations from the norm, with a warming planet, that nothing can resist their impacts. Regenerative methods, though, do provide a better safety net than the spray plough spray approach. Higher quality food. Regenerative practices often lead to crops that are more nutrient-dense and flavourful, which benefits both farmers and consumers. Now, challenges and considerations. While regenerative ag offers numerous advantages, it also comes with challenges and considerations. The transition from conventional farming practices can be complex and requires careful planning. Experimentation with new techniques and adapting to different rhythms of nature all take time, but equally stimulate the mind and keep the farmer fresh. There may also be initial costs and labour adjustments. However, the long-term benefits make it more than worth the effort. The future. The future of agriculture is intrinsically tied to regenerative practices. As the world faces increasing environmental challenges with climate changes and declining soil health, Regen Ag offers a viable and sustainable path forward. It's not just a trend, it's a necessary shift in how we produce our food. In summary, understanding the basics of Regen Ag is crucial to realising its potential to revolutionise our food system and mitigate some of our most pressing environmental issues. By promoting healthy soils, biodiversity and climate resilience, Regen Ag offers a path forward and towards a more sustainable and resilient future for agriculture and the planet. It's not just a farming technique. It's a philosophy that embraces an holistic and interconnected approach to farming and land stewardship. The future is indeed regenerative. And that brings us to the end of episode 1. Now, if you found any value in this or any of the other nearly 370 odd episodes, I'd really love it if you could tell someone else about it so that they could have a chance to listen. It's the best way to grow the pod. Until next time, thank you for listening, and decarbonise the air, recarbonise the soil. This has been a JM Podcasting Services production. Link in the show notes.